Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening to Horror and Heels. If you're wondering how we're making this podcast, we're doing it through Anchor. You can go to Anchor FM to get started. It's free. They have creation tools that allow you to do it right on your phone or your computer. I edit. I'm actually recording this while I'm in my car waiting to go to my next client. They make life so easy. They even distribute your podcast for you. You can be heard on Spotify, Apple, other sites. It helps you upload if you want to make a Patreon or anything. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I know zero about formatting and doing this and that and the other thing, and Anchor makes it so easy. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. If you want to learn more, go to the Anchor app or anchorfm.com to get started. Thank you and have a great day. Horror and Heels, I'm your host, Elicia Messier.
And I'm your host, Jen Driver.
So, Jen and I, for our first episode, decided we would just introduce you guys to us, what we love about horror, how we met each other, and kind of what you can expect from the show going forward. So, Jen, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Oh my God, this is so formal. I live in LA, and I've been a horror fan since I was born. My dad used to take me to horror movies as a kid before I could even walk, to my mother's detriment. She was not a fan of that. But yeah, so I started seeing like the Halloween movies, the Friday the 13th movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So now all those movies just have a special place in my heart. And I don't know, horror just, you know, gives me those good feelings inside. And I love talking about it. I could talk about horror like forever. So I was like, so when you asked me to do this podcast, I was like, yeah, I can talk about horror. I can make whole diatribes about horror. This is what I was made for.
Well, there you go.
How about you?
So, like I said, my name is Elicia. I am your East Coast person. I'm from Long Island, New York. If you couldn't guess that, just,
I couldn't. I had no idea.
No idea. And so I think actually my first intro to horror was the traditional fairy tales, like the traditional Grimm's fairy tales, the Little Red Riding Hood and stuff. I was always into books. I remember reading R.L. Stein's Goosebumps from
yes.
I was young. And then when I was in third grade, the West Hampton Beach Library by us, the summer between third and fourth, I was able to get my adult reader card. And the first book I took out was Stephen King's Pet Sematary. And that has set me down a path of reading horror, watching horror. The first horror movie I ever remember watching is Jaws. But I think as a kid watching it, it's not as scary because you don't see a lot and kids don't know how to intuit.
Yeah, they don't know what to be scared of.
Watching it later on in life, I was like, oh, like, that's what was happening. That, you know, like, you don't really get it.
Yeah.
And then, well, and now I won't stop. And just like Jen, I can talk about horror all day. And my husband was just like, start a podcast. I don't want to listen to this anymore. And yes, I am married to a man who doesn't share my love of horror. That's
that is rough, girl.
My love of food, so it's fine. And we have a 2-year-old. And you will probably sometimes hear him in the background because he's a loud little boy.
Oh.
And so, Jen, would you like to tell them how you and I came to be co-hosts here?
Oh, Wait, you said how we became co-hosts?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun story because there is a streaming channel dedicated to horror called Shudder, which I denied myself for the longest time because I was like, oh, it's going to be super cheesy. And I don't know, like, is it going to be worth it? Then, okay, I'm sorry, this is going to turn into a long story. Then I needed to watch Sleepaway Camp. I needed to because I needed to show my dad this ridiculous, awesome movie. So I was like, well, it's on Shudder, so I'm just going to buy it. I'll buy it for a month and then I'll probably just cancel it.
Just
And I already had.
Jen, anybody
What?
who just heard her say Sleepaway Camp and doesn't want to pay for it, Tubi is currently running it for free. Not sure how long they'll do that, but it is currently on Tubi for free.
There you go. Bam. Yeah, it was on Prime too. And then of course when I really wanted to watch it again, it was on Shudder. And I think they had it for free with commercials, and I hate commercials. I'm so conditioned to not watch commercials anymore. It's a little ridiculous. So I paid for I'd actually already had the free trial, and then but I didn't watch it very much. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay for it this time. This time I'm really gonna see what's on there, what it's about, since I'm paying for it. So I did that, and I was like, oh, this is kind of legit. So then actually I joined this Facebook group called Shudder Horror Fans. And that's where I met this lovely woman, just commenting. It's a really great group of people. It's so much fun.
Yeah. I will agree. Definitely very cool people. And I feel like you get trolls in every group, in any group and every group. But for the most part, even when we disagree, we are a group of people who can disagree civilly. And I really
totally.
One day, a very drunk Jen put up a post about how much she loved the group.
That's right.
Including but not limited to all the women in the group, because female horror fans are hard to find.
So hard to come by.
And I commented, and all the girls were talking. I was like, girls, we need to have a horror podcast. What are we doing? And Jen replied to that, and I was like, if you're serious, I have ideas. Private message me. And she did, and here we are.
The rest is history. This is like the coolest thing, because usually people talk about this stuff and then nothing gets done if I don't do it. So, or like I try to get it and then people aren't actually into it. So you're like scheduling, you're like, we need to do this and this. I'm like, hey, awesome, someone who's actually doing stuff. So well, I'm like, yes, you do the planning, I will be there, because usually I can't find people who follow through with this kind of thing. So I think it's pretty awesome that we came up with, you suggested this like what, a week or two ago?
Yeah, I think it's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and now we're already taping our first podcast, which is pretty cool.
And Ben and I have agreed that we have no desire to put on makeup or bras for you people.
That part.
So this will be fully audio, unless at some point in life people would like to pay tickets to see us in a theater, and then I will put on makeup and a bra.
There you go. There you go.
So listen, something to look forward to, guys.
You will definitely get more episodes out of me on a podcast, because I don't have to do makeup. I have a YouTube channel, like I said, for hair and makeup. Can't get it as often as I want to, because then I'm like, oh, I gotta get dressed. I gotta make sure I look right. You're like, podcast, I just jump on here. I can wear my pajamas. It's all good. Yeah,
I literally finished cooking dinner, like ate it and hid in the room.
You can have stuff in your teeth and it doesn't matter. Nobody knows.
No one knows. No one knows. So.
Oh, by the way, sorry, I was gonna say that post that I made, that blew up way more than I thought it would. Like, it got like 400 likes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh wow.
The Joe Bob. So Shudder does this great thing. Joe Bob on Friday nights plays a horror movie, gives you great trivia, great facts. He's with
the interviews.
Interviews. He's beautiful. Darcy joins him. She's fabulous. She's his mail girl, so she goes through the mail, and she's just awesome. We had one this week, and so the Shudder fan group does live chats. I don't know. I got on there, and I think we were already at like 1,000 comments within the first half hour. Like, it got
oh
great.
My God.
Because we watched Slumber Party Massacre 2, and
That was
I've never encountered a horror movie in which no actual
nobody died
until the last 10 minutes.
It was literally like a whole movie before anyone died, and you're just like, is this a horror movie? Like, what's happening? And then they had the nerve to like pay homage to Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees with the cop names. Right. You're like, don't you dare.
Don't you dare. Don't you
dare. You haven't even killed anyone yet. Like, you don't mention their names in your movie when you do not kill anyone for the first 50 minutes of the movie. And then they were trying to go for like the Freddy vibe. I was so confused. I was like, did I just miss a lot? Because I've never seen any of this. What was it called?
No, trust me when I assure you, you've missed nothing. The only thing that some people think she ended up in the mental institute, she was there the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Most people miss. Oh, spoilers.
Sorry, we forgot. Shoot.
I'm going to treat our audience like they are smart. If they are listening to a podcast about movies, and third of all, I don't feel bad about spoiling a movie from the 1980s, and I'm never going to. You had time. Unless you're 3 years old, you had time. And if you're 3, you probably shouldn't be listening to a podcast. Go Go
and if you hear us mention a movie, just assume we're going to give a spoiler. So you can fast forward. I don't know. But yeah, if you hear us say the name of a movie, just assume that we're going to spoil it. Because I hate spoilers. I do. So I understand. But just don't be upset.
I also expect, if I'm listening to podcasts about certain things, that those things like if I'm listening to a horror movie podcast, I assume all horror movies are on the table.
Right.
Something might get spoiled. Now listen, if I'm listening to a podcast about crocheting a blanket, and all of a sudden the host starts talking about a movie and starts spoiling it, then
I'm going to be pissed.
Now I don't know what's happened. That deserves a spoiler warning.
That is very, yes. That would definitely piss me off. You're like trying to hear how to like bake a cake, and all of a sudden she's like, and then at the end of sleepaway camp, and you're like, what the?
You're like,
this reminds me of the end of sleepaway camp, and you're like, wait a minute. No, that's totally fair.
And I have to say that I am a huge fan of podcasts. I probably listen to about 2 to 3 hours of podcasts a day.
Jeez.
Because I put them on while I'm cooking. I put them on while I'm cleaning the house. I put my son's playing with his toys, and I have them on. I put them on while I'm commuting, and right now my commute is 2 to 3 hours a day because I go door to door to people's houses for my job at the moment. So,
there you go.
Thank you, COVID, for that.
Thanks for that.
And Jen and I also wanted to say we will not be mentioning anything political even this November.
Especially this November.
I don't think that people...
You're not tuning into our podcast to hear about political opinions.
And now, to be fair, though, when and if we ever do the Purge movies, because they're one of the ones that I feel like have a very political standpoint.
Oh, definitely.
Then, of course, we will probably be discussing politics as it relates to the movie. We were saying also we will never discuss religion except if religion is a large part of said movie, like The Omen or something. Then, of course, it's going to come up in the discussion. So just be aware of that going forward. And if you came here for our opinions on political people, probably not the best place to find
not the right podcast.
The people over at Fox News have a lot of opinions. Go seek them out. I don't know what to tell you. And so the first movie that we're going to start with, so basically we've decided to compare and contrast remakes. So the original versus the remake, because Apparently people don't have any new ideas, and let's just churn out remake after remake after
remake after remake. Good Lord.
I'm looking at you, the Stephen King catalog. I'm looking at you. And don't get me wrong, I love Stephen King, but sometimes I feel like they just grab a back catalog item and
it's such an easy go-to.
Such an easy sell.
Yeah.
It's such a listen. Did we need another Chucky? No, but somehow we now here in 2020.
Don't even mention Chucky right now, and because I will go off on it, and so we need to save that for.
Yeah, no, we don't be saving these, but just know we have some stern opinions, and if you are people who really loved the remake, we might not be the people for you.
Oh yeah, golly gee whiz, that remake was just.
There's only one remake, well, two that I haven't seen, so I can't comment on. There's only one remake that I have liked, and I really thought they did the source material well, and that was the It remake. To be fair, though, I feel that remake, whomever the casting director, especially with the kids, I mean, Finn Wolfhard, you can't go wrong.
Those kids were amazing.
They nailed it, and that's what made the movie. And I can't wait to get into that, and that'll probably be... We might actually have to split those up into 2 episodes, only because there's 6 hours in the source material and 6 hours in the remake. So that actually might cover 3 episodes, but we'll let you know. And we will always let you know what we are going to be reviewing in the next episode. And so, like I said, my first kind of movie that I remember is Jaws. Hasn't been a remake, and I swear to God, if somebody tries, there are 3, and if they try it, I'm coming for them. It's Jaws.
I'll drive you. I'll be your driver.
But the Goonies, I'll come for you. I'll come for you so hard. And Gremlins, okay?
Oh, yeah, don't touch Gremlins. We don't need that to be touched. It was
perfection the first time. The sequel was great.
Love the sequel.
Just like I love the sequel because the sequel... Listen, I'm an East Coast girl. The sequel destroyed my city. How can I not enjoy it? You know what I mean? Come on.
My favorite part of the sequel was all the different types of gremlins. Okay, we're going to have to save it because we have to. I mean, we can't not talk about gremlins.
Right? No,
not all of our episodes are going to be remake and original. Some will venture off onto just standalone movies, like Gremlins, because they're just awesome and we want to talk about them. So
we're saving Gremlins for the holiday season. Yes. We have decided to be cheesy like that, and we will not apologize for it. So don't come at us in the comments. Don't care.
We will have themes.
We love a theme. So Jen, since our first episode is going to be your first horror movie intro, why don't you tell them what it is?
Oh yeah, I'm so excited. So this is my favorite franchise, 80s horror franchise. It's going to be Nightmare on Elm Street, which was remade in, was it 2010?
2010, yep.
Yeah, so I'm excited to compare and contrast, because even while I was seeing it in theaters, I just noticed some cool things, and I thought for a remake it was pretty decent, so I'm excited to talk about it.
And if anybody out there has HBO Max, they currently have all the Nightmare on Elm Street streaming at this time.
HBO Max is killing it.
They are killing it. And I'm very excited. My new HBO Max show that I'm excited to get into is Lovecraft Country.
Oh, I watched that last night.
Okay, well, I'm waiting to put a 2-year-old to bed. I got an hour left.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book yet.
Okay.
So that might have to happen first.
Yeah. I did the audiobook and listened to it while I was working, and it's a pretty solid book.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I have I have the Kindle app, and then I have every library app.
Yep. I have like 5 libraries on my library app.
Yeah. Yeah, so that will be the next episode.
So brush up.
Air every Friday. So that this episode that you're listening to now.
Happy Friday, TGIF.
TGIF. And thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to you listening again in the future.
So excited.
Have a frightening Friday, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.